Here's a fact-checked summary of what's publicly known about the connection between Sarah Ferguson and Jeffrey Epstein, based on credible reporting and newly released documents, commonly referred to as the Epstein Files. There is no verified criminal charge against Ferguson. These are revelations about communications and financial support, not legal findings of sex trafficking or abuse. What the Epstein Files and reporting show about Sarah Ferguson. 1. Personal correspondence with Epstein. Emails in the U.S. Justice Department's Epstein Files show Sarah Ferguson maintained extensive email communication with Jeffrey Epstein, even after his 2008 conviction for soliciting a minor. In messages from around 2009 to 2011, she refers to him in affectionate and friendly terms, calling him a legend and the brother I have always wished for. 2. Financial assistance from Epstein. It's confirmed that Epstein helped Ferguson financially. Around 2011, he provided £15,000 to help settle a debt she owed to a former employee, which she later acknowledged and called a gigantic error of judgment. Some email records suggest she asked for larger sums, up to $50,000, $100,000, to help with personal expenses, though it's not fully documented who, if anyone, actually paid those amounts. 3. Controversial email content. One set of emails shows Ferguson making remarks that attracted strong criticism, including offering Epstein the contact of a single woman with a great body and suggesting, "Just marry me." These exchanges were widely reported and have been central to the public backlash. 4. Possible visits and interactions. Newly released emails suggest that Ferguson might have visited Epstein's residence shortly after his release from prison in 2009. And that her daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, were with her for a lunch or visit, according to messages attributed to him. These details come from email metadata, and representatives of Ferguson have denied or said there's no clear recollection of such a visit. 5. Aftermath and reputational consequences. Charities cut ties or dropped her as patron after the revelations of her private email exchanges with Epstein. Several organizations she supported ended their association once the correspondence became public. Sarah's trust announced closure for the foreseeable future following the spotlight on her relationship with Epstein. The ongoing public scrutiny recently coincided with ex-Prince Andrew's arrest in relation to the Epstein Files and has triggered intense media coverage of both their connections to Epstein. Important clarification. There is no credible evidence that Sarah Ferguson was involved in or accused of any sex trafficking or illegal misconduct with Epstein. The reports focus on emails and financial interactions, not criminal charges against her. Investigative and media coverage describe her communications and repeated attempts to maintain a friendship or financial support line, but not participation in Epstein's criminal activities. News stories occasionally use sensational or speculative language, e.g., social media commentary, but reputable outlets emphasize friends, emails, and financial support, not criminal accusations. Here's what credible news outlets are reporting, as of late February 2026, about why Sarah Ferguson checked herself into a wellness rehabilitation clinic and what the situation appears to involve. People.com, where she went and when. Reports say she traveled to Switzerland after Christmas 2025 and checked into the Paracelsus Recovery Clinic in Zurich, a private mental health and wellness center that caters to high-profile clients and provides personalized treatment programs. She stayed there through late January 2026, and her exact whereabouts after that are currently unclear. Why she reportedly sought treatment. Multiple outlets report she went for mental health support and to get away from everything, amid renewed and intense media scrutiny over her name appearing in the newly released Jeffrey Epstein Files. The timing of her stay coincided with her ex-husband's legal troubles. Prince Andrew was arrested on February 19, 2026, on unrelated charges. But coverage of the situation has also brought renewed attention to their past friendship with Epstein. Insiders say she was feeling most vulnerable emotionally and mentally, which is why she chose the clinic as a refuge. What Paracelsus Recovery Clinic is, it's described as one of the world's most expensive wellness and rehabilitation centers, offering mental health care, addiction recovery programs, trauma and stress support, high-end amenities like private residences, personal chefs, and extensive staff support. Costs at the clinic have been reported in the tens of thousands of dollars per night, reflecting its luxury status. Official statements. Neither Ferguson nor her representative have publicly commented on her stay. The clinic also declined to confirm whether she was under treatment. It generally does not disclose individual clients. What context has this happened in? Ferguson's name surfaced in the Epstein files, showing ongoing contact and email exchanges with Jeffrey Epstein years after his 2008 conviction, which sparked controversy and led to loss of some charity roles. The renewed scrutiny, especially after Prince Andrew's arrest, is widely cited as adding pressure that may have affected her emotional well-being. Summary. She voluntarily checked into a luxury wellness center in Zurich in December 2025, January 2026. The move is widely reported as seeking mental health support and privacy amid media and legal pressure stemming from revelations about her past connections with Jeffrey Epstein and the spotlight back on her family. No official confirmation from Ferguson herself has been issued about the reasons or details of her treatment. No, Sarah Ferguson is not currently active as the head of her main charity. Her charity, Sarah's Trust, which she founded in 2020, is closing and is no longer operating in the usual way. What's happened to her charity? Sarah's Trust, a UK-based charity she launched to help vulnerable communities and provide humanitarian aid, announced it will close for the foreseeable future in early February 2026. The closure decision was made by the Board of Trustees, which included Ferguson as chair, after months of internal discussion. The charity has stopped active operations, meaning she is no longer running it as a functioning organization. Context behind the closure. The announcement came shortly after newly released U.S. Department of Justice documents, the so-called Epstein files, showed previously undisclosed emails indicating that she continued contact with Jeffrey Epstein after his 2008 conviction. The release of those documents reignited controversy over her past association with Epstein, although she has not been accused of criminal wrongdoing, and led to several charities cutting ties with her previously. Summary. Sarah Ferguson's charity, Sarah's Trust, is not active now. It has been closed for the foreseeable future. She is no longer serving as its head in any practical sense, although she was chair up until the closure decision. Other charity roles and patronages she held have also been ended or withdrawn by organizations in light of the Epstein file controversy. Here's a clear list of the major charities and organizations that publicly ended or cut formal ties with Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, after the 2025 Epstein-related email revelations, in which she reportedly described convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein as a supreme friend. The Guardian Hash. Charities that cut ties or removed her as patron/ambassador. Teenage Cancer Trust. She had supported this charity for about 35 years before her patronage was ended amid the scandal. Julia's House, a children's hospice that explicitly said it was inappropriate for her to continue as patron. Natasha Allergy Research Foundation announced it was no longer associated with her after the email revelations. Children's Literacy Charity ended her patronage role. Prevent Breast Cancer also dropped her following the controversy. National Foundation for Retired Service Animals, included in the list of organizations that cut ties. British Heart Foundation ended her role as an ambassador rather than a patron. Other consequences. Her own charity, Sarah's Trust, closed in early 2026 for the foreseeable future, partly due to declining support and fallout from the Epstein documents. Several of her private companies have also been listed for dissolution amid the ongoing controversy, though those are commercial entities rather than charities. Important context. These decisions were made by the charities themselves in response to the public revelation of private emails, not because she was charged with a crime. Charities generally cited reputational concerns as the reason for ending their formal connection with her.